In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to take these breast cancer inspired granny squares from an earlier video, and I will have the links to that video tutorial down below, and turn it into this fun, functional, and super soft fashion scarf. You know, Breast Cancer Awareness Month is actually October, so this would be perfect for that chillier weather. So with that said, welcome to Weaving Weird Studio and my creative weird life. My name is Sig, and what a pleasure it is to have you with me at this time. It's your interest and support that allows me to contribute new content and weekly videos. Help us all grow together by tapping the subscribe bar, notification bell, like buttons, or visiting my Etsy store. I look forward to your comments and always value your feedback. Now let's get started. So for today's tutorial, I need to have at least 6 of these breast cancer awareness granny squares. Find the tutorial of these linked in the description box below. I need a large yarn needle, a pair of scissors, of course. In this case, I'm going to use an size I hook, 5.5 millimeter or a size 9. All of this depends on, what standard of measurement you go by. And then I have 2 different yarns. I have a white bulky yarn, and then I have an eyelash yarn. And I have them together, and this is what gives me that fun, wispy, white, fluffy look of the fashion scarf. And then again, the names of the yarns that I am using will be in the description box below, and the amount of the yarn that I am using. And of course, you're always free to use whatever yarn works for you. Okay, so now let's get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my first square and I'm going to turn it upside down, because this first square is going to actually be the bottom part of my scarf. And I'm going to come here to this second stitch here in the corner, and I'm going to just insert my hook. Tie in my yarns. And then I'm going to work back loop only. And I'm going to single crochet across 19 times. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Then I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to skip a stitch and double crochet in my next single crochet. And then I'm going to chain 1, I'm going to skip a stitch and then double crochet in the next single crochet. Chain 1, skip a stitch, and then double crochet. Chain 1, skip a stitch, and double crochet. And I'm going to continue to do this across this row, this first row of single crochets that I made. And then when I've come to the end, I'm going to chain 4. I'm going to turn my work. And you should have 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 chain 1 spaces in your work. And I'm going to repeat this row 6 more times. So basically I'll have a row of single crochets across the bottom of my granny square, and then next I will have 7 rows of this pattern of the mesh work. So now once I've completed this mesh work, this double crochet mesh work is really what it amounts to. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just go ahead and tie that off. And let you take kind of a closer look. And you can see how furry and soft this eyelash yarn plus the bulky white yarn, the size 5 bulky white yarn, really gives us a nice effect. Okay, so now that we have the bottom half of one side of the scarf completed, or at least this part of it completed, I'm going to turn it around. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to single crochet across the top of this. I'm going to begin over here in my second stitch here in the corner. Back loops only. I'm going to tie in, and then I'm going to single crochet 19 as I had done before. And 19. Then I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to turn my work. And then again, I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to skip the next stitch, and then I'm going to double crochet in the stitch after that. And chain 1, yarn over, I'm going to skip a stitch, and then I'm going to double crochet in the next stitch after that. So basically we're going to repeat this mesh stitch again as we had done down here, and we're also going to do 7 rows of this open lattice work, of this mesh stitch. However, do not tie off when you've completed your 7th row, and I will show you why here in just a moment. So now that I've completed another 7 rows of 9, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut myself a decent length of tail. I'm going to take my yarn needle, but first let me go ahead and get that knotted off. And then with your next granny square that you're going to use, now keep in mind this pattern you can use, change up the color and use any granny square you have that happens to fit what you're doing. So now I'm basically going to whip stitch. I'm going to go here again to this second single crochet in the corner loop. And then I'm going to just go ahead and whip stitch my 2 pieces together. Now keep in mind, again, we're only using back loop only, so I'm going to insert my hook right here into the back of this loop, to the next stitch, and then I'm going to just whip stitch it to the next stitch on the white fluffy side of the scarf. And I'm going to do this all the way across in each stitch. And then when I get to the end, I'm just going to take what I have left and just weave it in. Okay, so now you can kind of see how the scarf is moving along. And again, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to begin by tying in my yarn. And then I'm going to single crochet, back loop only, my 19 single crochets. Once I've done that, I'm going to chain 4 and turn my work. And then I'm going to begin, as we had before, with the mesh. I'm going to skip a stitch and then double crochet in the stitch after that. And chain 1, skip a stitch and double crochet in the stitch after that. And when I've finished this row, I will have 9 single chain spaces in this row. Then I will complete a total of 7 of these chain 1 space or mesh rows. And then I'll leave myself a nice long tail, a reasonable sized tail, and I will use that to then whip stitch this to the next granny square that I am using in this scarf. And I will continue doing that all the way until I've gotten to my last granny square. And then on my last granny square, I will again go ahead, just as before, do my first row of single crochets, and then after that, my mesh rows of the double crochets for 7. And that is where I will meet you next to show you how to finish this off. Once you've gotten all your granny squares together in a nice long fashion scarf, it's time to finish off your work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find somewhere on the edge, preferably in the fluffy part, where I'm going to tie my yarn off again. And then I'm going to single crochet once and single crochet again twice in that double crochet or chain 2 bar there just along the edge. And then I'm going to do 2 single crochets in each one of those chain 2 or double crochet bars right along the edge of the scarf. Now, when I come here to this row of single crochets, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a single crochet in that. And then I'm going to do something a little different. Now, when I get to the edge of my actual granny square, I am again going to crochet in 19 of the stitches back loop only. However, I'm going to half double crochet along the edge in the back loop only. Two, 3, and then once you've gotten your 19 stitches along the edge of this granny square, you're going to go ahead and then single crochet in that next single crochet spot there in this that you come up to. And then you're going to do 2 single crochets in the next double crochet or chain 2 space. And I'm going to continue that all the way down that edge. So I've done 2 single crochets in each of the chain 2 or double crochet open spaces there along the edge, and now I've come up to this next row of single crochets in the white fur yarn, And then I'm just going to go ahead and single crochet in that one. And then I'm going to do my 19 half double crochets along the edge in the back loop only of the next granny square. So you can see how I do that then. So along the edge of the granny square, you're going to do half double crochets between the first row and the last row of your white mesh. Along that edge, you're going to do 2 single crochets in each of the chain 2 or double crochet space and a single crochet in the edge of the single crochet there in that one row of single crochets. So we're going to continue doing that, and I will meet you right back here in just a moment. Okay, so far your edging should look like this. And now that we're here at the corner, our first corner, I'm going to single crochet 4 single crochets into that corner opening. And then I'm going to do 2 single crochets into each of these chain 1 spaces as before. And then when I hit this next corner, I'm going to go ahead and single crochet 4 in that corner as well. And then I'm going to continue up the other side of my scarf, just as I had coming down the side we just worked. And I'm going to continue that all the way around. And then when I come back to where I began, I'm going to tie off and my scarf will be finished. Now it's time for me to say goodbye. So until I see all you wonderful and creative fiber artists again, stay crafty, stay amazing, and above all, keep weaving your weird. Bye-bye now.